Got a little juice here on Adapt and Respond Live with me, RJ Young. If you are new to the channel, new to the show, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer questions in the comments below. Do you think I'm going to go undefeated as I pick these games for the week 0 slate? So we're playing college football this Saturday, Kansas State, Iowa State in Dublin, Ireland. I don't know the first thing about Dublin, Ireland, except it was bad news for the mans that showed up there in Sinners. Michael B. Jordan and his twin, Michael B. Jordan, wasn't having it with the mans from Dublin, Ireland. You can come out with the rocky road, but you're going to leave with the sun coming up. And then, you wear that white robe around us. I don't know. There might be a dude out there with a Tommy gun. You never know. Could be. It's Mississippi, right? It's 1920s. You know what I'm saying? Anything could happen. Vampires, Ireland. That's what I think could go on in Farmageddon as we're getting the 109th edition of this. Because Michigan pulled out of the 2020 game, Kansas State, Iowa State have the honor of the longest running rivalry between two schools in major college football. I bet you didn't know that. Mostly because neither one of those programs have been very good at the same time or even at all last 30 years. But we're coming into a golden era for Kansas State and, more importantly, Iowa State in 2025. Last year, Iowa State won 11 games for the first time in school history. 2020, they won their first major bowl game, Fiesta Bowl over Oregon. 2020, they had a unanimous All-American by the name of Breece Hall. And they had a little-known quarterback, 7th-round draft pick, Mr. Irrelevant, named Brock Purdy at QB. And then you get Rocco Becht beating Miami and Cam Ward in the Pop-Tart Bowl for that 11th win. Why is that a big deal? A, Miami, all they need to do is beat Syracuse to get into the ACC championship. They couldn't do it. B, Cam Ward's number 1 overall pick in the 2025 NFL draft. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. So I'm looking at this and I'm going, we got a number 17, Kansas State. We have a number 22, Iowa State. And according to our friends at Bet Online, who are partnering with the show for the start of the college football season, thanks to them, we got +3 for the spread on Iowa State. We got -3 on the spread for Kansas State. But on the money line, you get +40 Iowa State. You get -160 Kansas State. Means that Kansas State is favored here. I'm not so sure about that. And I'll get into that. But this has also been a closely contested rivalry, with Iowa State having won 4 of the past 5. And the series going 54-50-4. It's really close. Unlike Bedlam, for which Oklahoma owns Oklahoma State. Now, I think it's interesting because I think both of these programs could end up in the Big 12 championship. Iowa State did last year. They got absolutely stomped out by Arizona State, but they got there, right? They just fell a little bit short. There's also the Abu Sama of it all, which is a Kansas State killer, because those of y'all that are familiar with Abu Sama's videotapes, with his films, with his flicks, understand that he's rushed for 357 yards over the last 2 times that they played Kansas State, including 276 in 2023 when it was icy snow outside. That man wanted every bit of Kansas State. Might be a Wildcat killer. We'll see. But Carson Hansen, other tailback at Iowa State, led them in rush yards, 752 last year. Between the two of them, one of those guys is due for a 1,000-yard rushing season. But because they were so good throwing the football last year, it was difficult to divvy up the carries. You had a 150+ for Carson Hansen. You had like 125 for Abu Sama. But you also had Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins on the outside. Both those guys got drafted last year, outstanding wide receivers. And the reason why Rocco Becht was able to throw for 3,500 yards, 25 TDs, 9 picks last season. This year, you got some unknown quantities at wide receiver. You really need Carson Brown and Xavier Townsend to step up for Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel. If that happens, Iowa State probably wins this game going away. Also, you need to start thinking about a raise for your wide receiver coach at Iowa State, because when you take a look at what they have produced the last 5 years, take it back to Hutchinson, and then you think about Charlie Kolar, and you think about their tight end room, they've been pretty damn good, to say nothing of John Haycock and that drop 8 defense that just makes life really difficult for quarterbacks. Mostly because you are forced to check it down all the time. Ask Baker Mayfield about that in 2017. Meanwhile, Kansas State, they got these dudes, Avery Johnson, not to be confused with, everybody's favorite Avery Johnson. This one is actually, he looks like the complete opposite of the Avery Johnson in your brain. Leave it there. You also got Dylan Edwards back there. So between Avery Johnson and Dylan Edwards, you got probably the fastest backfield in FBS. Both those guys can scoot. They can move. And you got a 2,700-yard pass, a 600-yard rusher in Avery Johnson. True dual threat. Dylan Edwards is going to be the bell cow back after DJ Giddens had an outstanding year last year. He's in the league. But you're also talking about an Edwards who was the 2024 Rate Bowl MVP against Rutgers. The reason I bring that up is he had 196 yards on the ground and 18 carries and 2 TDs against Rutgers. Rutgers was decent last year, but it's a harbinger of what is to come. I think if Jace Brown steps up and becomes that dominant wideout for Avery Johnson, they can be great. So, who am I picking to win this game? Well, it's Chris Klieman, it's Matt Campbell. I know that Chris Klieman wants his program built around the offensive line, always has. I know that if Avery Johnson gets loose against John Haycock's defense, you're in. However, I'm going to pick Iowa State to win this game because I really like what they got at tailback. I really like Rocco Becht, and I think they're going to figure it out on the outside. And I think John Haycock's defense is going to do enough to keep the ball in front of them, so we're going to go Iowa State as the pick here. Next on the docket, we got Kansas and Fresno State. Kansas-Fresno State is a battle of two small school coaches that are really great. One of them I absolutely love. You know how much I enjoy Lance Leipold, one of my favorite football coaches. He's also retooling, right? The only guy he's got coming back that we know a lot about is Jalen Daniels, and he sees it. It's going to sling it. It's going to be good. On the other side, you got Matt Entz, who spent last year as linebackers coach at USC, but before that won 2 national championships at North Dakota State. Now he's head coach at Fresno State. He's made E.J. Warner his starting quarterback. That's Kurt Warner's kid. I don't think that Fresno State has enough firepower to really compete with a Kansas team that is firing all cylinders and takes care of the football. They don't turn over the ball. They're really difficult to beat. Jalen Daniels, I'm banking on going into this final year, being draft eligible, having all the experience. I think he's going to be good. We're going to pick Kansas over Fresno State. Next on the docket, we got Western Kentucky and Sam Houston, who decided to drop the land grant part of their name because they bougie now. You know, like somebody that just got divorced. You know what I'm saying? I don't go by that no more. I'm back to my maiden name. You know, I liked it better when it was Sam Houston State, but I liked it better when it was Memphis State. I liked it better when it was Middle Tennessee State. I think that brings it back home for some of us. Now you're trying to look like you acting out of pocket. You know what I'm saying? Like you're the artist formerly known as. You still the Bearcats. Anyway, neither here nor there except to say it rubbed me some kind of way. In Sam Houston, you got a first-year head coach in Phil Longo, who got a pretty damn good quarterback coming back, right? We got Hunter Watson, and you're adding a tailback in Shane Porter, and you're adding a tailback in Elijah Green. That's Indiana and North Texas, respectively. And they averaged about 6.7 yards per carry last year. But it's going to be brand new on defense, and they don't know if they're coming or going. And this is Phil Longo's got an air raid background, so we'll see. Okay? Other side, you've got Western Kentucky and Tyson Helton. All he's been doing is turning out dudes that throw the ball all over the yard and offensive coordinators that rise up throwing the ball all over the yard. Okay? So who's he got now? Now that, he's in the market again. Well, he went to Abilene Christian to go get Rick Bowie and Maverick McIver. And while you don't know either one of those dudes, but it goes about it the way you might think for a dude named Rick Bowie and a dude named Maverick McIver. What a name. What a name. Maverick McIver also threw 506 yards against Texas Tech last year. Okay, so that's one. Two is he's thrown for over 8,000 yards, 63 TDs at Abilene Christian. I think they're going to sling it over there with the Hilltoppers. I think they're going to be pretty good. I think they're going to be a shoe-in as a favorite to win the Conference USA. So we're going to take them. Plus 10, minus 370. Minus 10, plus 296 for Sam Houston. And since I skipped over it with Kansas, Fresno State, minus 450 for Kansas, plus 12.5, minus 12.5. Fresno State, plus 350, right? I like Western Kentucky here. The last one we got to take a look at is Hawaii and Stanford. Stanford, 2-point favorite. But Hawaii is minus 133 on the money line. And this game is in Honolulu, which I think matters because You leave from California to fly to Honolulu, that's an 8-hour flight. That's time zone, dog. I mean, that's rough for anybody. And playing over there ain't like playing over here. And you're doing it with a rental-let head coach. I realize that we're saying all the nice things about Andrew Luck, wanting to return Stanford football back to whatever Stanford football was when he left it. But we're also looking at Frank Reich going, I'm only here for 1 year. What the hell am I actually going to get done here? I'm a placeholder. Meanwhile, Timmy Chang be the head coach at Hawaii, and I think he got himself a tiny little monster at quarterback. I've been very loud about this. Micah Alejado is that dude. Micah Alejado came out of Bishop Gorman, threw for 1,000,000 yards, threw for a bunch of touchdowns. Do you know why he wasn't a 5-star? He's short. And as another short man, I don't understand. I don't understand. What is it y'all holding against the short man for? He can't see over the offensive line. They run shotgun. They run from the spread. I don't need to see over the offensive line. You see these splits? One day, I'm going to get Laurel in here to tell y'all that she's ever beat at 6 feet, and that didn't bother her about me. But that's neither here nor there. So at 5'10", as if 5'10" is short. My God. We talk about a dude that came out with a 3-star rating. But last year against New Mexico, you know what he did? I'll tell you what he did. 469 pass yards, 5 tutties. The Rainbow Warriors are going to be a lot of fun, and I expect them to take that Stanford Cardinal tree and beat them to death with it. That's what I expect to happen. I expect the Rainbow Warriors to make like Jason Momoa in Chief of War, catch that spear, break your arm, and let you know what time it is. Okay? That's what I expect. So we're going to go Hawaii. We're going to go Western Kentucky. We're going to go Kansas. We're going to go Iowa State. But RJ, you're picking favorites. And I'm sorry. Do you see Buster Douglas over there? Even if you did, you didn't pick him. You picked Mike Tyson. What you think this is? It's college football. Underdog. Since when does the underdog win? This ain't the NCAA tournament, son. No. It was Ohio State and Notre Dame in the national championship game last year. It was Penn State beating the crap out of Boise State, beating the crap out of Southern Methodist. You know what time it is, dog. Don't hit me with that. Meanwhile, one more week for the big boy football gets started to play, and we get 1 versus 2. And I don't give a damn that you mad it's at 11 a.m. I'm just grateful that they're playing, dog. I understand. I work at the network where they got the 11 a.m. kick. I don't give a damn. It's football. I'll watch it a Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night. Hell, I watched the preseason Monday night football game with the Washington Commanders and the Cincinnati Bengals because I'm that type. I love football. And for those of y'all that still crapping all over a 2018 college football playoff, you don't like football. You hate football. You don't like more football. You don't like more football. You want more pageantry. You go see a beauty pageant. Okay? You go be a pageant mom. Over here, we're playing the sport. We're knocking heads. We're trying to find out which one of us is the better team. You subscribe to this show. And for that, you might have eternal thanks. And you are on the better team. We will see y'all live on Saturday night. We're going to recap it, take a look at it, see how I did. Till then, stay low. Keep those feet driving. Deuces.